Hey guys, welcome back. So, as you know, this week it finally happened. All 7 BTS members have now entered the military in South Korea for their mandatory military enlistment. Remember, a year ago, we were just facing the grim reality of the BTS members not being able to get their exemption, with Jin going in as the oldest and the first. And this week, we find out where the remaining BTS members went and what we can do while we're waiting to soothe our hearts. So, when will we get BTS back? The earliest, the absolute earliest of them just all getting out of the military and, not necessarily doing any activities, but just being out of the military with all 7 of them is June 2025. So mark your calendars. Yes, so in South Korea, every guy is supposed to fulfill their mandatory military service. It used to be like 3 years, or maybe even a little bit more than 3 years, and then it continuously got cut down. Now, depending on where you go, it's 18 months to 21 months, and it looks like all these guys, they're going for the 18-month program. And so June 2025 is when we're going to have RM, Jimin, Jungkook, and V come back and be out of the military. Jin was the first to enter. He's the oldest. That was back in December 2022. So he is going to be out soon in June. So he's going to have a whole year to work on projects alone. And I think he wanted to do more acting. He is going to be able to just, do his solo projects in 6 months, starting 6 or 7 months. Presumably, he can start doing his solo projects while he's waiting a year for the rest of the members to get back. J-Hope enlisted in April of this year, so he is going to be coming out of the military next September, so that's less than a year. I'm trying to look on the bright side of all of this, okay? And Suga enlisted in September 2023, and he is going to come out March 2025. So RM enlisted, Jimin enlisted, Jungkook enlisted, V enlisted all this week. And so June 2025, mark your calendars. That will be the big day for BTS's return. So as we've covered before, all of the members go through 5 weeks of basic training, and then they go to their specialized divisions and where they, work out their military service. Suga is the only one doing the non-traditional route because of his shoulder injury. So in those kind of cases where if he actually was well connected, probably that shoulder injury would have exempted it. I mean, well connected and not BTS, but just like, well connected, but nobody knows who you are, but everybody, knows who your daddy is. He probably would have gotten exempted. But in that case, he is fulfilling his requirements as a social service agent. So it's a little bit more just administrative. The other guys, it looks like the military is somewhat accommodative in terms of letting at least J-Hope and Suga go out and be with the new member, the remaining members before they went into the military service. So Jin was the oldest, and if BTS had gotten a half, like they were on their way in terms of the lawmakers going towards military exemption. They could have done it a long time ago, all in one fell swoop. Nobody wants to, face the backlash politically of, all of these men in their 20s and 30s and even older, just in general, people who just like are just would be mad and vote against a politician for exempting BTS. That was the strong force that we were dealing with in the whole military exemption debate. So they were able to at least get an extension to decide when they can enter the military until the age of 30. Usually it's 28. So 18 to 28, you have like that whole, on the bright side of it, you have the whole 10 years to kind of choose when you want to take your military service, like before you enter college, or do college for a couple of years and then do it and then go back to college, or any time between 18 to 28. They were able to then extend it to 18 to 30. Now, if you're over 30 and you still haven't gone to the military for whatever reason, let's say you were living overseas or whatnot or something, they can still get you until you are 40. 40, then, they don't want you there, because that would mess up things big time, because the whole age-based thing. How do I know this? Because they keep changing the law, and even if you were not born in the country, if your parents were Korean citizens, so, and if like me, and I was born in the United States, so I don't even have any South Korean citizenship whatsoever. A few years ago, they changed the law where if you are Korean ethnically, even though they don't give you dual citizenship, they will force you to choose. Hey, do you want to have this visa that is renewable every 3 years, that is known as like the Korean American visa, and serve your military service now if you're under 40, or you want to say bye-bye, come back on a tourist visa, don't be, not be able to work in Korea. They changed the law to this very weird, restrictive thing, and we've gone over it in a different video, but essentially they were trying to capture all of the privileged Korean people who are more like anchor babies, and they're actually like, they live and they exist like Korean people, but their parents decided to just, go on a little holiday, pop the baby out overseas, get it like a different citizenship, and then come back and live in Korea. That's who they were trying to target, I believe, with the law. And yet other people got caught up. So people under 40 who were working in Korea as Korean Americans, and if you're a man, a lot of them had to leave. There was like a brain drain among like a lot of foreign talent. And now they're just like, oh yeah, well, we want to bring in foreign talent. Check your regulations first. And so that is up until 40. Yes. Okay. So then where are they going? So we do know that Jungkook and Jimin are going together. And so in some ways you can apply to be together with somebody else into the military. So we found that out in very specific detail in their case, and they're going to be stationed at the same place that Jin is currently serving as an assistant instructor. So in that way, I think that was a good planning on the military's part, because you can keep them together and they can back each other up. So they're not going to be isolated, and that whole isolation thing I think then becomes a little bit scarier. But if you got the three of them together, and especially if you have one of the three already have been there and gotten some little bit of rank, and structural authority, then I think they can be a little bit safer. RM, I think he's going on his own, and V is going on his own. They entered the same training center, and that's in South Chungcheong province. Jimin and Jungkook went to Gyeonggi-do. So they're going to be there together for the 5-week basic training, but then RM is going to go off to a different place from V, because V is going into the special duty team. Now, because RM is, the leader of BTS, and we have seen his skills and strength, I feel if somebody had to be alone, then yeah, why not have RM be able to face it? Although I thought, maybe they can't have everybody together because then that would create an even more of a distraction. So RM, okay, good, by himself. V, maybe in some ways he's going off on his own as well, but he got into the very elite special duty team called SDT, and it is designed to be the Capital Defense Command and military police. So if you want to take a little bit of like a Hunger Games type of analogy, it's kind of like the military force that protects the capital. And also in the latest movie about the whole Chunduhan coup d'etat with Chung Woo-sung, that unit that Chung Woo-sung is playing the general of is the Capital Defense Command. So they are like kind of, when you think about movies and like, oh, like, you know, like the interesting unit that takes care of high stakes operations, hostage rescues, counterinsurgency, counterterrorism. Well, that's where V went, and he had to apply in a very special, different system where you have to take a physical fitness test, and then you have to have an interview. So he did this at the end of August and early September of this year. Then on October 26th, he got the announcement that he was accepted. So he's going to be going there. I don't know if he's going to, you know, like he's just fulfilling his military service. He's not like one of the career army guys in this. So I don't know how much of this whole like, you know, Counter-Strike or like, you know, I don't think he's going to do all, like who's going to be immediately doing all that stuff that you see, you know, like in the movies where he's like, he's not going to be a sniper on day one, but there is like the sniper training, there is explosives training. So this is like the training that, you know, really I mean, kind of puts you in that like other category. But I think if V, you know, if he does really well, and I'm sure he will in this unit, not saying like this is how you should use the Korean military, but they're using you during this time, you know, taking your life. He's going to be really good in roles, I think, that, yeah, like he'll be the next kind of, you know, the movie star that does all those things, those chase, you know, chase scenes and like gun scenes and like throwing grenades and then like, you know, doing all this counterterrorism stuff. He'll know from firsthand experience. Anyhow, so we will have to wait until June of 2025, and they did say that 2025 was the date that BTS would reunite. And so hopefully, if all goes well, we really only have about 18 months to wait. Of course, you know, you got to give them some time to reacclimate to normal life and then, you know, get things together. Maybe they'll be planning stuff and practicing and writing songs and then like somewhat producing in their off time in the military, who knows. But at the very least, starting from June 2024, so about 6 or 7 months from now, we can see Jin, and then in September, J-Hope will be doing some, most likely his solo projects. You know, especially since he didn't get a physical album for his solo album. And then we'll have sort of like a dead period between September to March in terms of like another member coming out. But, you know, from June, that must, with two solo BTS projects, members, Jin and J-Hope, you know, got to give them their time. So that would be good. And then, yeah, Suga coming back out in March of 2025. And then just 3 months later, the four, RM, Jimin, Jungkook, and V. So what do you guys think of the latest enlistment, and how are you going to pass the time, and how are you going to, you know, deal with the loss of the OT7? So put your comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye, guys.